Welcome to the Table to TV podcast. I am your host, Justin, and we're here with J-Dub, who is the co-host. I'm still kind of giddy about that. Those big, broad shoulders we were talking about earlier that we had to crop out for censoring.
Right.
And today we got my friend Issa Carl. You remember him from season 1?
As you should.
You better. That was like one of the most popular episodes. But here
I
we're
wouldn't mind
talking
talking more about Elder Scrolls stuff. I could talk about that all day.
Right? And here we talk about all things gaming, the kind that you play on your table or the kind you play on your TV. But today we're talking about a movie. And we're talking about the Mario movie. The new one, not the 90s, although I'll probably bring that up quite a bit.
I don't remember it. Like, I remember bits and pieces, but that's about it.
I was going to say, can we do another episode just about that one? Please?
We could do that. I was just going to bring up some parallels I saw is all later. But anyway, how is J-Dub doing today?
Really good. I made a cocktail earlier, so I'm good and spicy.
Speaking of Elder Scrolls, Carl, J-Dub is playing Skyrim for the first time.
Yeah, one day I'll beat it to
just probably not today.
Yeah.
So before we get into the episode, I want to tell you about mine and Carl's experience with Skyrim. So we got it day 1, and it was 11/11/11, and his mom drove us over there, and her Honda something or other. I can't remember what
Honda
it was.
lunchbox.
Yeah, that's what it was. And there was no back seats.
Yep.
And Munsey's like a 40 minute drive. So I'm just like laying in the back of this Honda. And there's like, Carl's mom used to do animal rescues. So there was like hay and stuff, like bits of hay.
Yeah, she had to remove a lot. And she removed the seats and shoved in a bunch of hay for her animal stuff.
Yeah.
It sucked.
But we got that shit day 1.
Nice.
What do you bet? Oh, and how are you doing today, Carl?
Pretty all right. I'm gonna go ahead and like show off a little bit, but like yesterday I had just completed my first course in digital marketing and e-commerce, so I got my first like Google certificate, and I'm kind of like proud, and I wanted to, show off a bit.
Nice. I saw you post that on Twitter.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I started posting it.
So we're going to be talking about the Super Mario Brothers, and for let's start off with just like your initial feelings about it, like just like before we like really dig deep into it, like just like what was your general feelings about it? J-Dub, you could go first.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. I thought it was a great movie. I loved the voice acting in it, which I realized that was, when everybody, like, when they announced the voice actors, everybody was like, No, it was good. The voice acting was good. The animations were great. Just everything about it just was really good for me, I think.
What about you, Carl?
Absolutely phenomenal. And I feel like I need to like do a disclaimer now going forward. I really enjoyed the movie. I really need people to understand that. I really enjoyed the movie. The reason why I'm like, harping on this is because of the fact I might lay into it a lot. It might sound like I'm
gonna shit on it a little bit.
It might sound like just full on blast. I liked the movie, but like there were things that I noticed. And like that's what I enjoy about like when it comes to watching movies in general. That's part of the reason, or part of like enjoyment that I have from it, is like the things that I see that I didn't really care for, and like what I would have wanted, to change and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
no, yes, I enjoyed it. I promise you.
This isn't going to be an Interstellar situation, is what you're talking about.
Okay, so Interstellar was a problem for me to begin with because, like, whenever I see Matthew McConaughey, he's always getting trapped and stuff, and like that was just another one of those movies. But I love the visuals of Interstellar. Interstellar was beautiful.
And yeah, I really liked the movie. It was a fun nostalgia trip. Being a Nintendo kid growing up and seeing all the little references here and there, and the music, especially from like the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, that was pretty cool. And they did give Charles Martinet a couple of semi-important speaking roles, so I was happy they didn't just shit on him all over the place, because I love that guy. Like, I met him at a Comic-Con one year, and he was just the nicest dude ever. And when I got home that evening, I emailed him some of the pictures that we had taken together, and he actually responded and stuff. And I'm like, that's so fucking nice. This guy is so genuine. Yeah, so I guess now that we got that part of it out of the way, we'll just kind of like progress through the movie as best as we can and talk about what we like the most. So the very, very beginning of it, where Bowser is attacking the penguins. First of all, I've never related to Bowser so much, because fuck penguins. Every time I have a chance to hurt a penguin, I'm going to do it. I've dropped them. But Jack Black's voice acting was phenomenal. I don't know why I was expecting like Tenacious D Jack Black, but for some reason in my head, that's what I thought it was going to sound like. I thought it was going to be like, "Hey, come on, we got to go get that Mario guy," you know that high level 2010 Tenacious D acting that he used to do. But it was actually really good, and like I did like the penguins like attitude about it. They were like, "Come get some, bro."
Yeah.
I don't know how like you guys like I don't know how invested you guys ever got with like The Walking Dead, but one of my favorite actors, Carrie Payton, who voices Ezekiel in The Walking Dead. And in The Walking Dead, Ezekiel is the leader of a group called the Kingdom, and he plays the role of the king of the kingdom to just kind of like make things easier for the fact that they're in a zombie apocalypse.
Right.
And he's very authentic, but he's deliberately being a fake character in that. And in this, he got to be the Penguin King.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
You got to hear that authentic voice that he used for his like king character, and it just fit perfectly. I loved it so much hearing him in that. So that was like, even though it was so short, it was still phenomenal for me.
What you got to say about it, J-Dub?
No, I loved so the beginning of it, when they were readying up and the penguins were throwing those snowballs and everything. I thought it was hilarious. I obviously was supposed to be funny, but they panned the camera out and just showed like Bowser like just barely getting hit at all. And it just like showed that like power contrast between the two, like Bowser and the penguins. I just thought that was hilarious. And yeah,
line was perfect. Do you yield?
Oh man.
Yeah, I love that. I love that shot too, because it reminds me of like cartoons when the weakling goes to punch the strong guy, and it's just he just stands there, and it's like nothing. Maybe the weaker guy breaks his hand on the dude's face or something.
Yeah.
Then we move on from there to Mario and Luigi's commercial, which for me was the highlight of the whole fucking movie.
That was good. It was pretty good, yeah.
They used the Super Mario Brothers Super Show music for their commercial, and that was so great.
Mm-hmm.
And then the stupid little punchline that even the woman seemed to be like, "What the fuck? You drained everything except my wallet." And she was like, "What?"
Yeah, I was glad that they made it like a carbon copy of like the old commercial. Like they replicated, they just like, you know, upscaled it and stuff like that, but like the entire thing was about like literally replicating that old one. I also like the fact that it referenced the capes, which I think is like the only reference to the cape power up in that movie.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I might need to like take us just a little bit further, because like this actually reminds me of like, because shortly after the what was it, the commercial, you have him, you have the brothers talking to Spike,
Right.
and
Yeah.
so one of the big things about like this whole thing is that Mario wanted to start a business with his brother, his dream business of being a plumber. And he was originally working with Spike at a wrecking crew, right?
Yeah.
This is like one of my critiques. Why didn't they tell us why he wanted to be a plumber? Why was like that his dream job, the dream business that he sets up with his brother of being plumbers? Like, why is this never addressed? That was like one of my big like problems with it. It's like, you want to be a plumber? Fine, follow your dream. I just would like to know why that's your dream. Did you meet a plumber that saved your life because your kitchen was flooding or something? Like, I just would love to know what the big dream was for Mario on why this was so important for him to go this direction.
Yeah, that's
Felt-
interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of a jump from, you know, wrecking crew to a plumber. So that's an interesting point. Yeah, for sure.
What did you think about the commercial though, J-Dub?
I thought it was great. I don't really remember a whole lot of it, other than obviously like the music and the power up thing. But I did like how, like right afterwards, you had, you know, Charles Martinet. He did his thing, and then I kind of like zoomed out, and the whole thing was taking place. And I imagine we're going to touch on references, but I think the place was called the Punch Out Cafe.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I love that. That was like, because I loved Punch Out as a kid. Like that was great.
Yeah. And also, I'm glad they did like the Mario voice, like the video game Mario voice for that commercial, because like when they finally like end it and you hear him talking normally, that's where I'm like, okay, I understand, because I don't think I would want a whole movie of Charles Martinet Wahoo Mario.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think I would have liked that.
Yeah.
But we got a little bit, so I'm satisfied with it. But then we'll get to it when we get. I'll probably. Well, anyway, Charles Martinet is also the dad, and those speaking roles were just fine. So I feel like Charles Martinet could have been the main role and not just made it all goofy like he makes Mario. But anyway, you were talking about the wrecking crew.
Mm-hmm.
That I feel like is kind of a parallel with the old movie, because the old movie wasn't a wrecking crew, it was a plumbing company, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was the same premise. He wanted to get away from this other guy to start his own plumbing business. That's where the parallels I was talking about earlier start. And then
it's like I get like in like this. Well, actually, even like, okay, so like I get in like the premise of like wanting to start your own business. That's perfectly fine. It's not like I have any particular, but like I don't know. Like I feel like anyone that wanted to start their business could probably tell you why they wanted to start that business. and I feel like we were never given the why as to, I mean, like in like a video game, it never really mattered. It never really mattered why Mario was a plumber, but it was convenient because he had to jump in a bunch of pipes and stuff. But like in the movie, they could have at least addressed like, you know, like when they did the whole like baby Mario, baby Luigi thing later, like when he was a baby. There was like this calling, I don't know. I just think it could have been like a fun little thing to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Then oh, did you have something?
No, go ahead.
Well, then right after that, they get their first job, and they have van trouble, which also happens in the old movie. Like they get a call for a job, and it's been forever since they had a job, but they get in their van and it's all screwed up, and they have to fix it on the street. That also happens in the '90s movie.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'll be honest. I don't really remember a whole lot from the old movie, other
It's
than
fine.
Yoshi being like really, really weird.
Yeah, Yoshi was just a baby T-Rex, basically.
and Toad being, I don't even know what he was, honestly.
Yeah, so then we have this scene where they get the van running, and they get their job, but I can't remember, was the first like quote unquote Mario level before or after they go to fix the plumbing? Was it before?
It's before, because
It was before,
yeah, it's the parkour on their way to the house because their van had trouble. They never fixed the van.
Oh, right. Yeah, and I thought that was actually really well done, because like it still captures the essence of the video game. It gave us a side-scrolling platformer section of the movie.
Yeah, I think that was one of my favorite parts personally. Was that.
Yeah, it's actually one of those things that's like on like what is it, that cinematography level, to where like you would that would have been like one of those moments where like you're doing the montage to just try to like maybe car chase scene kind of thing or whatever to get to a location that's time sensitive, and like it was fantastic that they used that as the opportunity to implement stuff relating to the video game franchise.
Yeah.
What the hell? Something just popped up on my screen. Xbox off. That would have. I don't even own an Xbox.
And then we get to the scene where they're at the house and they're going to fix a leaky faucet, which I don't know. I could. It was a funny scene, but I don't feel like it was necessary, really. I mean, I love the dog. Like the dog and how pissed off he was funny.
Well, I thought that it was kind of a funny reference, because I don't know if like I think in Luigi's Mansion they had this whole Luigi and a dog thing, and like it was like canonical that like Luigi is just fearful of dogs. So like that was sort of a reference to that.
That is I never knew.
Luigi is afraid of dogs until I think Luigi's Mansion 2. Is it 2 where he befriends that dog?
I think so, yeah.
Because like Moon. Dark Moon, which is also getting released on the Switch, by the way.
Yeah.
And but during the open cutscenes of Luigi's Mansion 3, he's all buddy with that dog and like playing with it like it's like a live animal.
Yeah, it's like, but that all started in Luigi's Mansion 1, where like he's like afraid of it, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the dog's just pissed off because they broke his bone.
Yeah.
Not like that's like part of what happens. I mean, like it should just be easier to eat or whatever. But I just find it funny that actually that whole scene was actually pretty fantastic. I like how like the dog was like meticulously aggressively licking his owner while glaring at Luigi. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was good. It reminds me of like how little kids can be.
Yeah.
When I was first dating my oldest daughter's mother, she would always tell me that like any time that I was holding Xavier when she was like 2 or 3 years old, she'd be like just like glaring, giving Rebecca the stink eye, and then when I'd look at her, she'd be all smiling and happy. And then, do you, do you got something?
Sorry, I was just thinking about like the following scene.
Yeah, I was getting ready to move on to that.
So like I find it funny that like they go there to the house and like this is their like again like plumbing was he made it seem like it was so important, and yet he didn't do the one thing that he was supposed to do, which was like turn off the water before you start working on anything.
Right, yeah. He was just that good. He fixed it there. He did.
Yeah,
He
that's
fixed
true.
it,
That's
and
true.
then the dog fucked it all up. Like,
That's true.
but yeah, he should have turned off the water.
But after the dog fucks it up, like then there's no recovery because the only way you're really fixing that is turning off the water. Actually, that does make me wonder. Okay, so I'm gonna jump into like a further scene. So just real quick, but it's gonna be relating to this one, so I just want to hang on it. So like later on, Brooklyn is in danger because of like super issue with like super water issue going on, like a valve bust or something like that. Do you think that had to do with all the way back of the dog in the house and breaking the piping and stuff like that because they never did anything properly? Because I don't think it was ever revealed on like what caused that issue.
No, it was just there. It was a plot device to get Mario and Luigi underground, is what it was. But you got a point there. I mean, it very well could have been. I feel like that damage. They clearly had more than just pipes wrong for it to get that bad. But we are talking about New York apartments, so overpriced shit boxes, from what I understand.
Yeah.
And then we get to the point where Mario and Luigi are coming home, and everybody is being so passive aggressive, except for the dad. He's just being aggressive. But like the uncle or the cousin that like acts like he's congratulating them, but secretly just kind of being a dick.
Oh, actually, this goes into like one of the problems that I have with the movie that like I'll explain at like the end when, because that's like when it like really comes into play. But it starts here. So the big nuance between like the character development of like the struggles that Mario and Luigi have, of like that like they are, that you would think based off of like how the movie had established these things, that these things would have been the thing that they would have been able to work on, right? So when it came to Luigi, it started back at the cafe, and they introduced the concept of Luigi being scared of everything, Luigi being a coward. This should have been like the big thing, and for the most part it was, with Luigi. Now the big issue that Mario had, he had the whole bravery thing, so he never had the cowardice. But what he felt, which he mentions after the meeting with the family, that he felt small, right? This becomes a reoccurring thing throughout the movie, but it misses the moment when it needed to be like a big deal at the very end. And like it just kind of disappointed me. I guess it was like, what is it called when they put in something but they don't use it? I can't remember what it's called. Red herring? Is that what those things are called?
No, I think
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I thought a red herring was just supposed to be like an early reference that that's revealed to be something important later. I don't
Oh
know,
yeah,
man.
you're probably right. Oh no, red herrings are just straight up false clues.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see. But for whatever reason, all these family members are just like downing on Mario, and then like the dad's like, "Oh, you're bringing your brother down with him." Like Luigi doesn't have a voice of his own. Like if like Luigi's just sort of do what Mario does, whether it's a bad idea or not. Like I don't know, is that Luigi's character? I don't know, but like you know, to say
Well, they did make it seem like, I mean, like when it comes later on in it, Mario has like only been, I think, away from Luigi for like a few days, or at least that's all that was like shown at most, of like maybe through like the montage or whatever, and he's talking to Peach or whatever, and he mentions like how like this is the longest I've ever been, without him. It'd been a week. You guys are
Yeah.
grown adults and you haven't spent more than a week apart.
Yeah, they have like some sort of like attachment disorder or something like that.
yeah,
So
that sounds more like your department, J-Dub.
Yeah.
you know the psychology and whatnot.
definitely codependent, especially
Yeah,
throughout all
yeah,
this.
definitely codependent.
Yeah, unhealthily codependent. Yeah.
And like something else about the Mario and Luigi relationship is, at least in this, it seems better than what it is in the games, because like Mario is a dickhead to Luigi
That
in
is true.
several different franchises.
That is very, very true.
So at least it doesn't seem like, at least this Mario doesn't seem as bad.
Right.
Actually, I guess since I'm already starting to, shit on this. So another thing that like I had a problem with it, and it has to do with like Luigi's, like the fact that like Luigi's like the damsel in this movie, and I have no problem with that. That's perfectly fine. It doesn't bother me none. But my big issue is the fact that one of the big things that Luigi needed to be in this movie is the player 2 to player 1.
Yeah.
Because this is the game. This is the game where you had the player 1 and you had the player 2. This is where all of the pre-memes about player 1 and player 2, before like memes were even a thing, came from. So like
Right.
I felt like it didn't do that well enough in this movie.
They didn't really even do it until like the end, basically.
Yeah,
Like-
and like there's like a particular problem that I have about the end. I'll wait till we get
Yeah,
to the
okay. I shouldn't have brought up the end.
Yeah. Like I remember, like I said before, the disclaimer, I really liked this movie, I swear.
Yeah, it kind of almost felt like Donkey Kong was the player 2 in a
In a
sense.
way.
Yes,
Yeah.
especially throughout.
And you could say Toad was kind of a player too, like for a little bit there.
Yeah. I also have a. I guess that one's not so much of a problem. It's just something that I noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
About the Toad and Peach like relationship to Mario, like they just like immediately accept this guy they just meet.
Yeah.
Like there's no like character development. like
So one of my favorite scenes was when Mario and Peach first met, when Mario was running towards Peach and Peach just goes whoosh. That part was one of my favorite scenes too, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
My favorite, so in the scene right after that where Mario's sitting on his bed playing Kid Icarus, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, which was interesting to me because now that I think about it, like Icarus is the one that flew too close to the sun, right?
Yeah.
That's like and you kind of think about that as like, Mario, it's kind of like symbolic in a way. That I'm just now kind of thinking about is like, it was kind of symbolic that he's playing Kid Icarus because he started to feel sorry that he's dragging Luigi in the mud and stuff like that. And like, I just felt like it was really symbolic that he was playing Kid Icarus, like during that time. It's like he flew too close to the sun by starting his own business.
Yeah, it's like, so, you cross that line, you've ruined your family.
It was also cool to see that R-Wing on his TV.
Yeah.
Good old Star Fox.
Yeah.
And then, Luigi brings Mario up some, or was it in, on it? I can't remember if it was at the dinner table or when Luigi comes up to talk to Mario in the bedroom, but we find out that Mario hates mushrooms.
It was at the dinner table.
Yeah, that was at the dinner table.
Oh yeah, he was picking them off. Right.
Yeah.
He was upset about it, and then they just kind of like started talking about all of the, they started harping on Mario, and then he left dinner early, but then Luigi brought him spaghetti to his room, and I did not look close enough, but it would not surprise me if he like got rid of all of the mushrooms that were on it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they see that news segment that you were talking about a minute ago with the, Brooklyn's being flooded, which God only knows why, but it gets Mario and Luigi underground, which is another parallel to the old movie. Something incredibly similar happens. They go underground in the 90s movie. They go underground to fix a valve.
Yeah.
And then they fall into, it's not a pipe that takes them to the other world. It's just like some kind of weird like portal, almost looks like quicksand in the side of the wall kind of deal. But in the movie they go through a tunnel. So that was cool.
Yeah. Oh, so like a comparison to the other movie?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, in this current movie, they go down a pipe like they should in a video game, but in like the old movie, it was more of a portal. But it's the same concept though. They went underneath to go fix a pipe. Well, that's not why they went down there in the old movie, but that's what ended up happening when they went down there. But still, same kind of idea. It's like a parallel, like broken pipe underground ends up in, well, it's Dinosaur Land and the old Mario, but Mushroom Kingdom. And this is probably where the best meme comes from once he's actually in there. He meets Toad, and I think they cut it out of the actual movie, but it was in the trailer where he says Mushroom Kingdom, here we go, or something like that, and he totally sounds like Linda Belcher. He really does. Like, look it up sometime. People have made memes about it, but like for whatever reason, they cut it out of the final film. But in the trailer, when he says that, it sounds like Linda Belcher from Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Rug.
I'm surprised you guys didn't see that. It was all over TikTok and shit.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
But like that same scene in the final cut, he's just silent as they're hopping down the mushrooms, and you see the kingdom in the background.
Yeah, it was Toad that said something, if I remember correctly. I think it's something to do with adventure or something like that. Because like Toad was mentioning how his adventure starts now or something like that. Like Toad just was like immediately his best friend. Like there was no like they had a conversation thing. I mean like he just showed up. Toad said, "Don't eat that. Never mind, it's fine." Toad goes on his own business. Mario's just trying to figure things out. Mentions that his brother went somewhere dark. He's like, "That's terrible." And then they're just ready. He's like, "Come on, let's go." Like just immediate. Like there was no like. I guess I'm just so used to different pacing with other movies that this one threw me off.
Yeah, I think it kind of like set the tone for his personality, though. Like Toad's personality,
Yeah,
like
that's
being
fair,
so
that's fair.
carefree and just being like, "Yeah, let's go, let's just hit the road, man."
And then they got Keegan-Michael Key to voice Toad, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with him at all, but he's one of my favorite comedians. Like
he's great.
Key and Peele, that show's all sketch comedy, and it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that does remind me of one thing that I thought was like kind of like a shame, because they did a amazing job with the overall cast of this movie. I felt like they should have had more things where they were playing into who they got. Right. So like the thing with Jack Black and Bowser, like I have a TikTok of forever ago when I saw that he was going to be Bowser, and I was like so hyping about like the idea of him doing music and stuff like that, and then like me and people on TikTok were talking about him like the entire movie being a musical, and I was like, I'd probably get into that, and like it was just like really cool. But like I recently found out that we almost weren't going to get it because Jack Black is usually apparently a little bit more remiss about like combining his singing with his acting. And but they eventually convinced him to do it, to do a song. And it just kind of got me thinking, it probably would have been really good if we got to play off of like, because like they got a lot of like really funny people, and I think it would have been better if they played off of like their unique sense of humor and their unique style of their humor and stuff like that. Like they got Charlie Day as Luigi. It would have been amazing if we got just a little skosh of like Always Sunny in Philadelphia kind of thing. Yeah. And then like again the Keegan-Michael Key thing, like Key and Peele is phenomenal. Like, I don't know. Like, I just think like if we got scripts to where we could just play just a little bit into those, I don't know. I think it would have been really, really funny.
Yeah, they might have avoided some of that just simply because this movie was geared towards children. So I don't know how much they could get away with. Like
the Lego movie, they got what was it? Lonely Island did the credit song, and you hear their humor with their music in the credit song because the entire song is about being a credit song, and that's hilarious.
I never actually watched that movie. I need to watch it.
Yes, I recommend it. The Lego movies are fantastic. They're really funny.
But like,
nice.
Well, the thing about it is like I think this movie was going to they were going out of their way to be safe and as inoffensive as possible, because first of all it's Illumination, so like that's minions and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, kids and stuff, but also like Nintendo's finally like pulling their head out of the sand about movies. And mm-hmm. I think they were just trying to make sure that like they didn't upset Nintendo to go back into hiding from movies again, because like
scare them.
The old Mario movie is why we never got any other Nintendo licensed movies. We got a few crappy TV shows here and there, but no movies. Like I don't know if you guys remember watching the old Kirby show or the old Donkey Kong show.
Yeah, I remember those. Yeah.
I liked that one Kirby show. I don't know if that was considered the old, like I don't know if there was like an older Kirby show or not, but like I for what it's worth, I think it was like on what was it, the 4Kids? Was it 4Kids?
Yeah. My only problem with the Kirby cartoon was they treated Kirby like a Pokemon, and he's just going around saying his name all the time, and that got annoying to me.
Yeah,
and I didn't really much care for Meta Knight's voice. I don't know why, but
I'd have to watch it again to remember. But I do remember what you guys are talking about. Yeah, with the Kirby thing. I also remember the Donkey Kong Legend of the Crystal Coconut or something like that. I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that
I remember thinking that they were really good when I was a kid, but now that I watch them as an adult, I probably think they're not so great. But I don't know.
Yeah, so where are we at now? We're in the Mushroom Kingdom now,
Mhm.
and Toad is just like taking charge, and Mario's just
Yeah.
like just there. But
bringing him through the crowd.
Yeah.
His brother's about to die.
Yeah.
He's totally fine. I'm just trying to move the crowd.
But
Yeah.
this kind of made me feel like it was kind of like a level from one of the 3D World games, because there was still some platforming there, but it wasn't side scrolling. And there were a lot of elements of Mario levels in that scene. And I thought that was really cool.
This is also the part of the movie where I started to really notice the music remixes.
Yeah, the score.
I was just like, oh my god, this are probably, I think, one of my favorite things of the movie, if not my favorite thing of it, was the music remixes, and it was phenomenal. I was like, oh my god, this is great.
It was one of the things I was hoping for. I'm so glad they delivered on that.
Yeah.
And then they get to Peach, and she just is like, the fuck are you? Like,
yeah.
And then like everybody else is like,
everybody else is like,
guards.
The
Toad
guards.
The Toad guards.
Let's back up to the Toad guards. Freaking, she's in another castle.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I love that.
And then Toad didn't like the fact that they were picking on him, so he made them food.
Yes. Oh man.
Yeah. Another castle. Speaking of that phrase, Carl remembers this. I showed it to you once before, Jada, but I don't know if you remember it. It was a Zelda comedy skit from way back in the day, and Mario and Link are sitting in a bar, and Link's just going about all of his troubles. And at the end of it, Mario goes like, like, we have a saying back where I'm from about princesses and everything you got to do to save them. Nothing changes. Sounds like your princess is in another castle. and then Link's like, yep, she's totally in another castle.
Oh, man.
Then we get a little bit of that. I like the direction they went with Peach, because if anybody needed character development from this franchise, it's her.
I had a problem with Peach. Oh my god, I had a huge problem with Peach. Okay, so me having a badass character, I love that shit. Do not get me wrong. I love the fact that they made Peach a badass. Perfectly fine. My problem with Peach was that they made her a Mary Sue. Mary Sue characters are characters that have no problems whatsoever. There was no issue that Peach ever had in that entire freaking movie, other than the ones that she caused for herself. Which I can only even think of one. And like, it just kind of happened.
Yeah, but the one major problem she had, she made Mario deal with it. Like, Cranky Kong didn't want to give her the army. She's like, okay, Mario, go deal with that.
Well, actually, that had more to do with Mario talking out of his ass, because she was actually trying to say that it was a bad idea. But no, like, yeah, okay, so like, for example, like, take the John Wick movies, if you guys have seen any of those, or Taken movies, or any movie where you have a badass main character fighting a bunch of people working their way through. It doesn't matter what you pull. Throughout the movie, there will be multiple times where they have struggles, even though they're able to shut down full armies by themselves. There is still struggle and even character development as they do this. Peach had none of these things. That's a problem to me. And it's just like, it bugs me that, like, she didn't have issues. She became less relatable of a character because she didn't have issues.
Well, I felt that Peach was like necessary to just be there, but they didn't really utilize her like as a main character. She felt like more like a background character. So like,
well, they kind of had to do that because if they just had Peach do it, she would have just been able to do it because they built her to be a character that could have done it.
right.
Yeah.
But they made scenarios to where she couldn't have. Another good example is like when you remove a character from something so that way other characters can have that limelight, because if that character was there, they would have just solved the problem. A good example of this is Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. But I was fine with Peach.
Yeah, I think that I think that they made Peach the way that they did because like Mario, was stressed out about his brother, right?
Yeah.
And then you had Peach, who I think was sort of the emotional support sort of character that was like the rock, right? And then you had Toad that was just kind of like everywhere. Like he wasn't really like emotionally engaged with the struggle. He was just kind of there, right? So I think that it was important that Peach like was the rock of that sort of trio.
Don't get me wrong, that could have still be established. A good chunk of her character could have still been mostly established. There would have been no reason to have changed much of it. Just add some more nuances. Maybe, here's an example. Let's just say maybe when it came to that obstacle course, she wasn't able to get it done on her first try. Maybe it did, she did have issues. Maybe, maybe that was a possibility. The only issue that I had ever seen her have. Yeah, sure, there's like a level of mystery to her background, but I'm not even really incorporating that because like it's not like she was really like she ended up here and she doesn't really seem to have that much of a problem with that. But like so there's a scene where she dips a spear in like lava or something and then she throws it. It hits no one. I don't even know who she was throwing it at. I don't know who she was throwing it towards, but it happened to graze the grandpa bomb.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah,
and that was clearly not her intention. I thought that was her intention, but it clearly wasn't, because when he blew up, she was like the only one that got affected by the explosion. She got knocked over as if she didn't know that she had done that to him. That was the only time I had ever seen any sort of like hiccup with her character. And that's all I was more of asking. If she needed to be like the Rock, like you were saying, perfectly, like I get it. Like I want it, like her being a badass, I'm perfectly okay with. It's just I don't know. I like it when my characters have relatable qualities.
right.
yeah.
That was my big issue with Peach. Sorry, I'll shut up now.
You're good. I can't remember exactly how all the scenes play out, but I know somewhere in here we see Luigi in the Badlands or the Dark World or whatever they called it in this thing. And that scene where he's like, basically pissing himself and then the lightning strikes and then there's all those shy guys right behind him. That was cool.
Yeah.
I loved that scene. And then they imprison his ass.
Well, I like that scene because I love Luigi's Mansion, and like that entire environment was basically a huge reference to Luigi's Mansion. Like, and I just love that game so much.
Yeah.
So this is another actually. So like this would also be around the time when like Mario's doing like the obstacle course thing and like stuff like that. And this is another good example of like when you clearly start to see like Luigi's cowardice and when you clearly start to see Mario's the fact that like Mario has a problem with his size or stuff like that, because like when it came to Peach talking to him, one of the things she kept raising on him was the fact that he was so small.
Right.
So like
yeah.
And then when it comes to the obstacle course, the entire obstacle course was about him getting a power up to make him bigger. So here's another implement of like, okay, clearly Luigi has his cowardice to work through, and Mario has to work through the fact that he's short.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the obstacle course itself, yeah, it was your typical 80s montage training sequence. And I didn't mind it, but like all over the internet, people are shitting over their music choice for this. They used "I Need a Hero" by whomever. I can't even remember what it is, but like,
yeah, just like in Shrek.
that was a big complaint with this movie in general. Is a lot of people were like, "Why did they use all these '80s movies?" And I'm like, I was fine with it, but because like Mario came out in the '80s, I thought that's why they chose the music they did. Like, it fits. It's of the era.
I don't think that it would have been. I don't think it would have been necessary. Like I had said with the remixed music, you didn't want that to be the whole movie. Like, I mean, you want to use some like tracks that people know and people to be able to relate to, and you'd be like, oh, I know that song. You want that somewhere. Like,
right, and
I don't know.
And like, what other music would you use other than that kind of music? Like, I mean, I'm more of the metal scene, I guess, but like, I can't think of anything post 2000 that would fit that scene. Like, they don't write music like that anymore that can be used in such a way. Your "I Need a Hero" or another one I had off the top of my head, like "You're the Best Around," like. Or the Final Countdown, they don't write songs like that anymore. At least not that I'm aware. Like, if you guys could give me a better suggestion, I'm willing to listen. But like, I feel like
when it came to them making it to like the Donkey Kong like place or whatever, they're on that track to get to Cranky Kong. And wasn't that "Take Me On" or "Take on Me" or what?
Yeah, "Take on Me."
Yeah. And that was also an '80s track. So like, and I like that was one of my favorites. So like, I feel like a lot of that stuff just like kind of like worked with the ambience. You're like, I think the idea of going like the '80s route with the remixes, with Jack Black being awesome. Like, I mean, I feel like this was like genius, like scoring. Like, I mean, like, I feel like this is one of the things. Like, I feel like they knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah, I have
I think so too,
complaints with the soundtrack. Zero complaints with the soundtrack, but a lot of people are pissed about it for some reason. I just don't
that being said, they were pissed off just by the idea of like it coming out. So like,
yeah, I know. Like, some people are just professional like piss ants, I guess. I don't know, like they just make it their job to be pissed off, but this is the way some people are, I guess. But that training sequence though, it's another platforming, and it was kind of like a combination between side scrolling and like the 3D world kind of stuff. You got a little bit of both in there. And I like and what I like the most about it is like it was a true training area. All the enemies were robotic. They didn't have like real piranha plants and shit in there. It was all robots. And I don't know if you guys seen it, but like they've recreated the training section in like Mario Maker 2, and I've seen it on TikTok before, and it's actually pretty cool.
Nice. I'll have to try that sometime. Get Mario Maker 2 and try that.
So we also have another Bowser scene in here somewhere.
It's around. Exactly. Yeah, it's around all this.
And that's where we get our first verse of Peaches. Or is it the I can't remember if it's like the rock party that he has, or if it's the piano scene.
Actually, just addressing the Bowser stuff in general. Can we talk about how good his spy network was?
Oh yeah.
Like, anytime something happened, he literally found out that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've always thought Bowser's henchmen were way more competent than he was.
Yeah.
Like they knew that she was training Mario.
Yeah.
How did they know that?
And what all he cared
where
about
were
was
they?
all that he cared about is does she find him attractive? He didn't
Yeah,
even give a fuck.
Yeah, that's like one of those. I feel like that's how they were wanting to go about it. They're like, what we want is two things right now. We want Bowser to simp really hard, and we want this to distract the fact that his men are really good at their job.
I always kind of thought that it was really just Kamek that ran the place with, Bowser as a front person for it. I mean, and I know that's just my headcanon for it. Bowser's just like the Queen of England, so to speak, just like a figurehead. But he could breathe fire and kill people, so.
Yeah.
But I can't remember if it's now that he does the scene where he's having that big metal concert, or if it's the first piano scene. I can't remember which one happens first.
Oh God! There was also the one when he's like when he gets a hold of like Luigi himself. So like, oh God,
That was more later.
I think it's the rock concert, and then
I think it's the rock
scene with
concert
Peaches,
first.
and then Luigi.
Yeah, because
that's
he's announcing his intentions to the men, and then he says she's going to marry her, and they're all like, "What?"
Yeah, because he does that when he receives like they do the whole concert thing because of the fact that he got the star.
Right.
And that had to have been the first scene after him getting the star. So there's that. And then now that you understand that his whole thing is about wanting to marry Peach, we then have the song. Yeah, would have been probably around this point. Because I think this would have been when he's finding out about Mario being there, and then I think that's when we cut to them at the tree. Maybe?
Something like that.
Am I jumping?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
No, I think the tree scene comes next. Well, I think it's like their traveling scene. Like they show them in a bunch of different, like it's a montage of
That's true.
Of different like levels and stuff. So, and then I think it cuts to the tree after that.
Gotcha.
Don't quote me on that, but
well, anyway,
so,
the next thing of significance is meeting Cranky Kong and the Donkey Kong fight, which
yes,
I know a lot of people were saying that Donkey Kong didn't need to be in this movie, but I'm glad they put him in there because like it shows the rivalry, but then they have a little bit of like development, like they become sort of friends, and also it kind of takes it kind of like retcons the fact that Mario used to abuse this ape in the circus. So that's a thing. I see your eyes, Carl. That's a thing.
No, I was just no. What I was thinking of was back at the Punch Out cafe. They had the one game as like an arcade game.
Oh, Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot
about that. Yeah,
that was
You're
what
right.
I was thinking of. That's what popped in my head.
Yeah.
But
that was actually what I was expecting to be like the layout of the battlefield in that, but
it was more like Smash Brothers.
Yeah, it was more like Smash
I thought
Brothers.
that was kind of cool, personally.
Yeah, I definitely prefer what they did versus what I thought was going to happen. I'm glad that like that stage was just a reference on an arcade cabinet. I felt like that is a much better reference for it.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't need to see like them reenact a level of Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we got the Smash Brothers level. That's basically what it was.
Yeah.
And Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, actually not terrible.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I remember I saw him doing an interview about it, and he's like, well, if you want me to be this character, I'm just going to use my voice. I'm not going to give him a voice. I don't do voices. And I'm like, well, I mean, you do you, but that's kind of a shitty, piss poor way of looking at it. But hey, it worked. Like Seth Rogen's normal voice works.
It was the same thing when it came to. I think he was doing. I mean, actually, in all of his voice acting stuff, he's never really done voices for what it's worth. So like, I mean, I feel like it might have came out probably pretty strong, but like, I mean, if I don't think you should be expecting, like, if the whole reason you wanted to get Seth Rogen was because you were expecting him to do voices when he's never done voices.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of like the more of the rub.
Yeah, I feel like it was more of just like, okay, we need a voice actor, you know, and they chose Seth Rogen just because this is what he sounds like, and they didn't want him to do a voice.
I don't know if I would have wanted him to be Donkey Kong, but like I'd like to at least hear it.
Yeah.
I don't know, Donkey Kong as like Bender or Jake.
Maybe Bender. Jake and Bender are pretty different. Maybe Donkey Kong is Bender for John DiMaggio. But then we get the Mario Kart section, which I don't know. I have mixed feelings about. I thought it looked cool, but it kind of felt shoehorned in almost. But like, I still enjoyed it. So I don't know. I'm kind of like neutral about this scene.
I personally thought it was like a big reference to Diddy Kong Racing, because like how the Kongs just have the carts.
Sorry,
like,
sorry. Back it up to the fight real quick. I'm sorry. Diddy Kong getting yelled at? What the fuck?
Oh yeah.
And everybody's just like looking at him like, what the fuck, bro?
That's because he was still cheering. Like he said, shut up.
But anyway, you were talking
that was
Diddy
good.
Kong Racing.
Yeah, no, I just how the Kongs had all the carts and stuff. Like I just figured that was probably a callback maybe to Diddy Kong Racing. Just how like it was because Diddy Kong Racing had a bunch of different characters and everything like that, and this is what this is, a bunch of different characters coming together, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I just figured that was probably a reference to it.
Maybe.
Potentially.
But like, I don't know, like the way they build their carts is identical to the way you build your carts in Mario Kart 8, and
yeah.
like I said, I'm pretty neutral about this scene because like I thought it looked cool, and like I guess it served a purpose, but at the same time I kind of felt like they shoehorned it in just for the sake of, hey, let's put Mario Kart in here too.
This goes back to my point on like Bowser's spy network, because their whole thing going forward was to ambush Bowser, and he already had the information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ambush them like.
Yeah, this is where the Peaches song came in, because he was singing his song and then they tell him about the carts, the Kongs.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that like Bowser's like, come over here, jam with me.
It was when he was going to kiss the one guy, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Because like he was dressed up as Peach. They were doing the faux wedding thing.
Right.
And then he gets informed the information, and then that's when you do the whole cards thing.
Yeah, that's right. I thought he was practicing his proposal.
Yep.
Girl like you makes a turtle come out of his shell.
Yeah.
That
also
perfect for this.
Kind of like backtracking. Before they did the whole cart thing, when they had the planning session with Cranky Kong, that map was, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I loved it. I think that was the map from Super Mario World. like the map
Yeah.
that they were looking at. I love that
Okay.
too. That was great. That was a great reference too.
Yeah, which is kind of funny because the Mushroom Kingdom isn't a location in Super Mario World.
Right.
But
yeah.
still, I loved it. Yeah. I think that was really funny actually, because like you because you started Yoshi's Island. Like, is Yoshi's Island part of the Mushroom Kingdom? Maybe a subsection of it or something, or I don't
Well,
know.
with how
but
they did the movie, it just kind of seemed like all the places were together and separate at the same time. It
Yeah.
almost seemed like the places could like were connected, but could also just stop being connected. Like it
Yeah.
didn't really seem like it didn't seem like it was consistent or ever needed to be consistent. I think it was just part of like the mysticism of it all or something like that.
Well, that's how it is when playing. I know Super Mario 3, when you travel around to different worlds and stuff, they're all just not physically connected, really. I don't think. At least they're not in the Super Mario. I can't remember 3D world. Like, you just travel there by pipe, right? It's like this magical pipe that's in the sky, and actually, they probably referenced that in the movie too when they were, going to the Mushroom Kingdom. But yeah, like, they're not ever like physically connected. Typically, not in the games. They usually aren't. I don't think.
Yeah, not in a geological sense.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go back onto that kissing scene real quick. I happened to notice, so but I don't know like names. I don't know who that wizard general that was dressed up as Peach is.
It's Kamek.
Yeah, Kamek. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
He
when
actually
they were
raised Bowser.
when they were about to kiss, I noticed that he started to stick out his tongue.
I didn't see that. That's
No, I
weird.
didn't notice that either. I don't think.
That's so weird because like in the games, if Kamek raises Bowser, like that's his.
Well, it's the same
surrogate
thing with
parent.
Toad, right? Like,
Yeah.
isn't Toad supposed to be Peach's dad?
I don't know how that works out.
It was like a bunch of toads that raised Peach.
Yeah, that's how
I
they did.
guess.
That's how they did it. I guess like the council, because it kind of looked like they were doing like a council thing. But you didn't even really seem like any of them in particular were like the specific one that were raising her, or like she didn't make it seem that way. She just made it seem like I showed up. I made one of them eat my pacifier, and they made me their princess.
Yeah.
It sounds like a fucking Super Mario Only's fans. Like, what the
Oh, jeez.
we try not to think about it. We try not to think about it.
Oh, and also like, did you guys ever see Matt Pat's game theory? Which I know we're splitting hairs when it comes to game theory, but did you ever see where he compared the toads to being like a colony of bees?
I don't think so.
Well, so in that video, the gist of it is the game where they had Toadette had just come out, and Matt Pat kind of Matt Pat it, and he so like the idea is that maybe Princess Peach was a toad at one point, and she got and she became a toadette and eventually became princess or queen, and due to the fact that she's always getting kidnapped, the kingdom's always in trouble, the toads are starting to rebel against their queen as a beehive would if their queen starts failing their duties, and replacing them with a new queen, Toadette. But that like I said, that's just you know how game theory is.
Yeah. The only game theory episode I remember like specifically was where in Majora's Mask, they were thinking that Link is dead, and like he was going through like the stages of grief and stuff.
Yeah, and
One of
that
my
got
favorites.
debunked quick.
Well, I mean, you could debunk it with like one line in the game, because there was that one in Icona Canyon. There's that cave where this one of the Poes or whatever you fight said that Link was full of life, and it's like, can't be full of life if you're dead.
Yeah. That's a topic for another time.
Yeah, we can talk about that another time.
We'll do a bunch of episodes in the future where we just kind of nitpick at Matt Pat. As much as I love the guy, I love Matt Pat, but some of those videos are like, come on, bro.
Right.
So where are we at next with the movie? We had
the
Bowser.
ambush would be taking place or you would have the Rainbow Road, and
Rainbow
the
Road,
ambush,
and Bowser cuts him off.
Yep.
Because of his incredible spy network, and stuff happens. People end up in the water, and then Donkey Kong and Mario become frenemies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
I would. Okay, so like it was like kind of like hate bonering to frenemies, and then at the end it's like a weird family thing.
Yeah, but they did have that nice little heart to heart, because it turns out both their dads are kind of like jackasses to them.
A nice little heart to heart.
Yeah.
Okay, if this is what I remember, freaking Donkey Kong was sick of his dad seeing him as a joke. Mario's like, well, my dad doesn't think that I'm that great either. Donkey Kong's like, well, your dad's right.
Yeah,
that's the heart to heart.
Yeah. Well, you know, like Mario saves Donkey Kong's life and stuff, and before I talk anymore, this is a good time to bring up that the movie got that part wrong anyway. Cranky Kong is not Donkey Kong's dad; it's his grandpa.
Yeah, right.
It's like I don't know if relations even matter.
Yeah, a detail that doesn't really matter, but yeah, it's just, I don't know why, but like it seems just like Donkey Kong Jr. has been erased from existence for some reason, and I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that Cranky Kong's not Donkey Kong's dad. Like,
yeah. Just
for listeners, like, they got that wrong. Just so you know, it doesn't matter, affects nothing, but it is wrong. If I spent my life learning all this lore and shit about fucking video games and fictional worlds, I want to point out when the creators get it wrong. Because I'm petty like that. What's next? Or did you guys want to talk about the wreck?
So Mario had saved Donkey Kong from drowning, but then they get eaten by the fish, and then that's when they were having the heart to heart. And then Donkey Kong saved Mario via rocket. Now, during this time, everyone got captured, and we should probably talk about how amazing that blue star is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Okay, I'm not that like Mario centric. What is the blue star?
I don't know.
The blue shell? Or
no, the blue star that
was another thing that pissed me off.
Oh.
The blue shell hit someone that wasn't in first.
Did it?
As the target. Yeah, because Peach was technically in front of Mario and Donkey Kong, which led them into the water.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I missed that bit.
Yeah, because her bike was just slightly ahead. Now, the blue shell can hit, like, something on the way to the target, but it would just hit them. It wouldn't, like, that is, then it's over with the blue shell. The blue shell always seeks it out. Still, so like bullshit.
I'll have to rewatch that scene again, because it might have been like just before. Was it like just before the blue shell hit? Because like if it like locks onto its target like just before, it might have.
Shell. after his thing died, and Peach had been ahead.
Oh, okay.
And then they caught up to Peach, and they were even. Don't get me wrong, but technically her wheel was in front. Like if we were talking about crossing a finish line, she would have won. So like to me, that means she's in first.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely have to watch that scene again because I don't remember. I don't remember that one.
Because I think what was really going on was he was specifically becoming a blue shell to target them specifically. But that was really what was going on, and technically they were never racing, so technically Peach wouldn't technically be in first. I'm just saying she was ahead, so like that's my petty shade that I'm throwing. But
the blue star person that was like all about like life is misery.
The Luma.
Yeah, the Luma.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I was like, what are you guys talking about? Because I'm thinking like superstar shaped blue star. No. Okay. The Luma. Yeah. That one. Yeah. That was hilarious. I thought.
What is that?
That's from Mario Galaxy.
Yeah.
Is it depressing in Mario Galaxy? Like I don't know anything about
it. That's just unique to that one.
Yeah, it's just
does it do anything? Sorry.
The Lumas are like little, like they're basically citizens of Mario Galaxy. Like they are.
They're the Toads of Mario Galaxy.
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why there's one imprisoned by Bowser is beyond me, and why he's such a masochist is beyond me.
He's not even imprisoned. Like he could easily get out of the thing. I'm assuming they can fly.
Yeah.
He could have left forever ago. He just wanted them to feel agony and misery and shit like that.
Yeah, I have no idea why they chose that personality. Maybe just to match with his blue color.
It was pretty. It was
blue. I don't know.
I think it was because of like how what probably happened was like they got a kid to voice it or something like that. They probably started there, and then when they were hearing the kid do lines, they were like, you know, it'd be really funny, and then that led to them leading down the depression.
Probably. The sweet relief of death.
It worked.
Yeah.
It worked really well.
He's kind of like the star of the movie almost. He got the you know, the scene right before the credits and everything, you know?
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah.
He played the saxophone. Okay, so I think we are at the point now where like Bowser is confronting Peach and trying to get her to marry him.
Yeah, because like she bolted to the Mushroom Kingdom to evacuate the city. And then the whole reason she even got to like the stage to where like she agreed to like marrying him was because they started to torture Toad, who just told her that he would stay with her again. So like if he actually left, like maybe that entire scene wouldn't have happened.
Right. Oh, let's see. Then you know, she refuses to marry him, but then he's like, well, do it or
torture Toad.
Yeah, torture Toad. She's like, well, I can't have that.
You drive a hard bargain. I don't like it when my toads are being tortured. Darn it! My one weakness as princess.
And then from here, I get a little fuzzy on the details because so much is happening all at once as far as like the sequence of
the wedding. That was like the big thing. So the wedding's happening, and then
which is
this was also
Odyssey
when we were
reference.
Wrapping up inside the fish to where they get on the rocket on the way to the wedding. So that's so we are now colliding all of our separate like scenes. Normally we have a Bowser scene, and then we might have like a Mario scene, and then that Peach scene. We are now colliding them all into, they're all getting to the same location at least.
Right. And the Bowser white tux thing is a reference to Mario Odyssey. He wears that same tux. Because that's what he was trying. That's what he was trying to do in Mario Odyssey as well. Was get. Well, I mean, that's typically what he's always trying to do. But
Yeah.
getting Peach to marry him. But this time he was suited up for it. And I don't know. Nothing I could think of with that I want to talk about.
So
You guys
so
got
like
anything on that?
the wedding scene here is another good example of like how, like, you know, Peach just really doesn't have anything to worry about. She didn't need to be saved in this situation. She had a plan with Toad of having the ice flower and stuff like that. And then she ended up becoming like the thing that fucked up her own plan, which I thought was just kind of funny. She used the ice flower to freeze the thing from lowering of all the prisoners from going into the lava, and then also froze Bowser. Putting him out of commission allowed her to like fight everyone else.
Right.
And then yeah, she was like taking on everyone with like without any problems whatsoever. Until the moment she threw the spear and blew herself up, which also broke the ice that she put on the thing, and then started to lower.
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention about the wedding was the attendance, King Babam being there. That was cool.
Is that the one? Yeah, is that the Grandpa Bob? He just had the white mustache or whatever.
Yeah.
So
the one from Super Mario 64.
Yeah, she accidentally blows him up. I thought it was intentional, but considering she got hit by the explosion from the back, I was under the impression I guess she didn't mean to. And yeah, she did. Yeah, it was because of the weird flaming spear thing, but yeah, after all that, that's when I want to say that's when Mario and Donkey Kong show up.
I think so, yeah.
Because Donkey Kong catches the cages and Mario catches Luigi.
Mm-hmm.
And now we finally get some Luigi action, as he's been in prison nearly the whole freaking movie and getting almost no spotlight.
I don't think we got anything until they go to Brooklyn though. What do you do? What do you do in at the wedding? I don't even think he did anything.
I don't know. I don't think he did either.
Because let me try to remember. So like I skipped like a whole part because there was like a whole montage between Mario and Donkey Kong. Didn't that happen before? Yeah, because the rocket got shot out of the sky, and so they had to fight their way to the wedding.
Yeah, because that's when Mario got the Tanuki power up.
Yeah, and that that's right. Yeah, and so there was like this whole badass moment between Mario and Donkey Kong. Then they get to there, and then that's when everyone's happy because, you know, they're winning and Bowser's on ice. Bowser gets pissed off because he simps so goddamn hard and sees Peach standing there with Mario, and that was enough to make him burn his way out. And I think, was that when he drops Bullet Bill?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I don't remember, to be perfectly honest.
So that's what I'm thinking it happens. We'll work with that until someone proves me wrong. So like, I think Bullet Bill shows up, and then it's about how he wanted to blow up Mushroom Kingdom, which wasn't exactly where they were. They were above it with like Bowser stuff, but like they weren't quite there. So Tanuki Mario flies after Bullet Bill. And then that's where most of that scene is. And then Mario makes this colossal fuck up of like how, because like he managed to get the bullet to stop wanting to blow up the Mushroom Kingdom and start chasing him.
Yeah.
And so he brings it into the portal, and then it blows up in the portal, which forces parts of Mushroom Kingdom and most of Bowser's Kingdom into the portal into Brooklyn.
Which is another parallel to the original movie from back in the 90s. That same thing happens.
Okay.
Somebody tries to open the portal, but they're not the right person, or something like that. It big explosion, and then all of a sudden Bowser and everybody is coming from Dinosaur Land into the real world. So I don't know. I thought it was cool that they borrowed from the original movie as much as they did. And then they ended up getting all, sucked back to their original world at a point.
Okay, so now we're like at like the final scene thing, and I don't know which one. What should we do first? Should you guys start talking about how awesome you guys liked it, or should I talk about all of the nuances that I had a problem with?
To be perfectly honest, I don't remember as much of it, of the ending as I do the beginning, of the movie itself. I just, I don't know. I only watched the movie twice, so I don't remember all the finer details of the end of it. Especially since the second time I watched it, I had my kids with me, and you know how my kids are. And do you remember much about the ending sequence, Jada?
Not much. Probably not much more than you do. I remember enjoying it because that was Luigi's time to shine. Like Luigi finally had his chance in the spotlight.
He finally player 2.
Yeah, he was exactly. Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Yep. Was he's finally player 2 at this point, and
yeah, and that final scene, I like the when they're just laying into Bowser. Loved all of that. That was fantastic. But my problem was how we got there. Like I said, on our way up to this point, we had so many things playing into the fact that Mario is short, and this is a problem that he deals with, and Luigi is a coward, and that is a problem that he deals with. Hell, right at this moment, he's currently hiding in a fucking trash can. So, for what it's worth, he fell into the dumpster, and then he just stayed there. But like, this is where like, oh my god. Okay, so what happened was Bowser laid into Mario a bit, ended up getting him into the cafe they were at earlier, and then mentions how he's scared or a coward or something like that. And Mario's sitting there, he's watching the commercial, and that inspires him to take action. And then the following scene, we end up seeing him try to reach the star. He doesn't make it in time. Fire from Bowser shows up, and then Luigi steps in to save the day. That's what we were given. And it pisses me off. Maybe pisses me off is a strong term. It's more of like, they were so close. They were so close to like doing this. So Luigi was the coward. Mario was small. What they should have done, they could have gone 2 different angles. Let's say like Mario was being catcall's not the right word, but he's being fucking ranted at, but roasted by Bowser, called short, weak, little, whatever, all these things, and he can't do anything to Bowser, right? Let's say that's the case. We set that up, right? Meanwhile, Luigi's in the cafe, and he's hearing the commercial, right? And it's about him not, maybe he's not, needs to stop being a coward and get out of hiding. We get both of these angles of like, this is your moment to be big, Mario. This is your moment to be brave, Luigi. And then we have the scene where Luigi shows up, and we weren't expecting that to happen because he was just hiding a second ago. And we weren't sure that Mario could really do much of anything because, like, of his size or something like that. Like, if we just went about... I just hate that we had all these build-up moments, and then the one time to execute, we don't do it. And then we just kind of cut it short. But we do have a really big finish, and then we do get to make Luigi player 2. So these things are still delivered. It's just, damn it. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was just too marveled at the visuals of all of it to really like sit and comprehend what was actually going on. I think I was just, enjoying the cinematics of it, not really thinking about like the consequences of any of it. So then like they're heroes now, and the dad's finally not being a dick.
Okay, that's another thing we need to address.
Why are
Mario
they heroes?
did that. Bowser wasn't even an enemy to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Mario was the one that did that. Destroyed half of Brooklyn in one fell motion. Yay, they're heroes.
Right.
You solved the problem, you...
Just... Meanwhile, there's still like the whole like flooding issue in Brooklyn too, like, and then because like I don't think that ever got resolved. In fact, I think they made it worse. Like,
right.
Oh, but we got our happy ending though.
Okay, now that we made it to the end, I want to reiterate: I really did love the movie. I swear.
Did you guys watch the end, like after the credits with the Yoshi egg?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
I'm really hoping that's a precursor for a sequel.
It probably is, but at the same time, it didn't really like hit me very much because there were Yoshi in the movie, but I mean,
yeah,
just
for like
briefly.
2 seconds.
There was also that one Yoshi game, right? What was it?
Yoshi's Cookie?
Was it? Something to do with Yoshi needing to save like baby Mario or some shit?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yoshi's Island?
Yeah.
Is that what that was? I don't remember what the game was.
Yeah.
Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island.
Yeah. I love Yoshi. I would have wanted more Yoshi. I think that's my biggest critique of the movie.
Yeah, it
is that I wanted more Yoshi.
It is kind of, well, actually, a lot when it comes to like Illumination and animated movies in general, there's a lot more cuts that they do. I would say in comparison to like any other kind of like movie, because of just like all of the time management they have to deal with like actually going and doing the work of animating it.
Right.
So they probably, like, when they were first working on this, Yoshi was probably a main player. It would not have surprised me.
Yeah. You see him in like the montage of the levels and stuff like that, I think, and I think that's like you see like the herd of Yoshis.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it. But Yeah.
Yeah, but this movie kind of retcons the Baby Mario thing because they show that scene where, you know, Mario was protecting Luigi from getting picked on or whatever at the park.
Mhm.
So like
Mhm.
unless they get sent to the Mushroom Kingdom or Yoshi's Island or whatever after that point or whatever, but I
Well,
don't
what
know.
if I mean like it could be like they got turned into babies.
Yeah, well, the opening sequence of Yoshi's Island is that the
Mhm.
stork was on their way to deliver the
Yeah.
Mario brothers to their parent, and something happened and they dropped Mario.
Oh, sorry. I
So
just
he
realized
was
there was
born
part of like what I was thinking. I never said out loud. My bad. So like what I was thinking is like what they could do instead of like maybe directly making like a Super Mario Brothers like 2 thing, like they just make a Yoshi movie.
Yeah,
I'd be okay with that, honestly.
yeah, I'd be okay with that too. Actually, I would prefer that like characters basically marveling it, characters getting their own movies that are all part of the same universe. Like I
Mhm.
said, basically MCUing the thing. As much as I don't really much care for Marvel movies anymore because I'm just over them. There's too many of them.
Actually,
I do like the formula.
that's a perfect segue because me and you almost had a conversation about the idea of a Legend of Zelda movie, and you were mentioning, I think it started about how you were mentioning how like Illumination was saying that they weren't involved in like a Legend of Zelda movie. What is like your like how would you want them to go with one?
Well, a lot of people want it to be like live action, but
Mhm.
in order to like keep it towards the arty, I think what most people want is for it to be like Game of Thrones but Zelda. I don't necessarily want that. I want something more along the lines of like How I Trained Your Dragon for Zelda. You know, that kind of animation, that kind of
Oh,
tone.
yeah, get DreamWorks in on it, like just in
Yeah.
general, like
'Cause, like,
like
those
in
movies
terms
were
of
great
like
for
in
fantasy
terms of
movies.
like what would it be like? Do I want to say like delivery? So like when it came to this movie, it wasn't like we were taking like a specific Mario video game and making a movie adaptation of it. This was taking the franchise and then making a movie adaptation of it. So
Yeah.
like in terms of like
Yeah.
story development and like going off of like the Legend of Zelda stuff, what is it that you would like to see like from a movie, I guess would be my question.
Well, the thing about the Zelda universe is that all the games work better if you look at them as standalone games. You try to start, the timeline's fucked. We talked about that before.
Yeah.
But as standalone games, they work best. So I would want that for a movie. I would want a movie with an original story. I wouldn't want a retelling of Ocarina of Time like everybody wants.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm
don't
hoping
know-
for too.
What
I
most people
think the
don't know-
idea of like a Legend of Zelda movie being its own unique like iteration in the clusterfuck of like Legend of Zelda timelines. Like
yeah, like throw your
there's
Easter
the
eggs in
movie
there or
timeline
whatever,
kind
but
of thing.
Yeah, throw your Easter eggs in there or whatever.
Yeah.
But I would
Yeah.
want it to be a standalone thing. And everybody's go-to is like, oh, do Ocarina of Time as a movie, and I'm like, somebody already has. It's not great. There is a live-action movie that retells Ocarina of Time. It's super low budget. You can look it up on YouTube and watch it right now. It's full-length film, like runs like an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes or something like that. It's a movie. It's not
if you
exactly
ask me,
fantastic, but...
like that's like another problem is that like no offense to the games, they're the games. Like the storytelling and delivery is based off of the fact that they're games.
Yeah.
So when it comes to
they're built that way.
This being when it comes to this being a movie, it's entire like storytelling and how it paces itself and how it delivers the story it's trying to tell is going to be built around the fact that it's a movie. So like even if they did do a what is it? A Legend of and let's say Ocarina of Time movie, I 100% guarantee that you would hate it. Like general you would hate it because of the fact that like you would have to add things and possibly get rid of things in order to tell the story better, and people would hate it.
What you're describing is exactly what we got. You can look it up on YouTube. It's called Hero of Time.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it for the fact that it's rather impressive for being as low budget that it is and being made by basically just like fans. It's not by like any super well-known studio. It's just some like, you know, lesser known, like it's just a bunch of people. And like I think the person who plays Zelda gets recasted as Saria and recasted as a bunch of other females just because like they had no budget. Like I remember following its development for a little while because they were keeping a website updated, and then I kind of just forgot about it. And then one day I was like, oh, I wonder, like several years later, I was like, oh, I wonder if they ever actually finished that. And I looked it up on YouTube. There it is, the whole shebang. Lots of practical effects, lots of really bad CG, but it's there. And it's exactly what you described. Something I'd hate. Like as a Zelda movie, I don't like it. I just like it as like, wow, these guys did a really fantastic job making a movie with what they had.
Yeah.
But like if Nintendo were to sanction an actual movie, it would need to be like you could tell you could rehash the old tropes, like, you know, Zelda, Ganondorf, Link, whatever. You could rehash all the old tropes, but it would have to be built for a movie and standalone. And preferably like in the style of How I Trained Your
here's
Dragon.
my other question. Do we risk is in your like dream version of this, is Link talking or mute?
Minimal talking.
Talking?
Well, kind of like I would imagine it as much dialogue as probably like Geralt gets in The Witcher. Did you watch the Witcher series?
Interesting.
It would be
interesting. Okay, so like I'm so like for you to pull like The Witcher, and then like you also mentioned Game of Thrones, and then you were also mentioning How to Train Your Dragon. It would be interesting to see like the animation style of like How to Train Your Dragon, but in like a drama format, like those two movies or TV series. My bad, like Game of Thrones or The Witcher.
Now,
it would be very interesting to see how that would like look and feel, because I've never really seen like dramatic animated stuff. Like maybe sad stuff, but not like at the level of drama that like The Witcher and like Game of Thrones, like just the vibe you get from it, it just feels different. So like that would just be interesting to see. I don't know if like I necessarily would want something like that for, you know, this particular talking point, but like it just happened to make me think of that. I don't know.
But also, if they wanted to do an anime adaptation of the Twilight Princess manga, I'd be okay with that too.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about that, Jada, before we sign off here? Zelda movie.
I would like it. I think that it would definitely need to be in a different... I think it would have to have more action than the Mario movie did. So I think they would have to go through like a different, I guess, sort of style of animation to accommodate for that. And
have you guys seen the newest Puss in Boots movie?
No.
No, I keep seeing advertisements for it, but I haven't watched it.
they went a different animation route than they've ever gone with like any of like the Shrekverse movies, because that particular movie had more action than
Shrekverse.
any of the other movies.
I love that we live in a world where we could say Shrekverse and it actually means something.
Well, the thing of it is, I'm just. Do you guys okay if I spoil it?
I don't care.
Yeah, go ahead.
At the end of the Puss in Boots movie, they show that they're going back to Neverland, or happily ever, or far away, or where the fuck was it?
Far, far away.
Yeah, far, far away. They're
like that.
going back to far, far away because Puss left, and he's now going back. So I'm guessing we might be getting another Shrek movie.
Just what we need.
Yeah. Hey,
it's time.
I can always go with more Michael Myers. That's fine.
But sorry, J-Dubs. I do wanna hear you finish saying those.
No,
words.
that was basically it. I think as far as like the storyline goes, it'd be interesting to see what they would come up with, because I mean, you've got typically most of the Zelda games do follow this sort of like, you know, you've got the temples and then you've got Ganon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
that's sort of the structure. So it'd be interesting to see how they would structure the movie, I think.
That being said, you know, it'd be kind of cool if like the movie like did a I don't know, like through like some sort of magic bullshit or pull or whatever, like to where like all of the Ganons and all of the Links and all of the Zeldas across all the different timelines, like were able to convene and fight this like gigantic war. You even have like the original like 3 goddesses in the sky fighting each other. Like that would be pretty dope to watch. It would also be cool if like some of the Links, like you really got to see like which like what they were better at than other Links. Like what some of the Links were able to do slightly better than another Link was able to do, or something like that. I think that would be kind of neat too. I'd also like the like when it comes to like the 4 swords like pull, I would like all of their like combos to be about like integrating each other's attacks. They're all about the teamwork. I'm now getting hyped for a movie that's probably not going to do what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely
I'm
something.
I'm not saying that like that should be the whole movie. I'm just saying like a scene like that would be dope.
Did you guys play the remake of Link's Awakening?
Absolutely
Yes.
not.
Okay, so the animation that plays at the beginning, that anime cutscene where Link is getting like you know, tossed off his boat and stuff, that's kind of that I would like it to be animated that way if they were to do a movie or a manga adaptation of any of them. Like I think all of the games have a manga at this point. If they were going to do some like a movie based off of a game, I would want it to be an anime adaptation of a manga. I don't want it to be live action. I don't want them to go off the cuff and come up with something super original. Just, you know, just base it off the manga. Link talks in those. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't think I would want to. I don't think I would want a live action. I think I would want it to be some sort of animation. I don't know if I would want it live action.
This being said, this is going to be kind of like a tangent or a segue in a sense. I'm now like, usually when it comes to like medieval fantasy, I always see like better performances and like a good chunk of like different aspects, like whether it's like the overall like just how everything looks, you know, the wardrobe, the props, stuff like that. I usually see better stuff from like TV shows than movies, specifically when it comes to like medieval fantasy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
So,
we kind of veered off topic long enough for this episode.
Yeah, sorry. I wasn't sure if you guys would ever like do this as like a particular topic, like talking point, and like I feel like since you brought up the Nintendo cinematic universe, I kind of thought like I could weasel this in there.
That's fine. It's fine. It's no big deal. Any final thoughts about Mario?
I swear I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's like one of like I can't even think of when I enjoyed. I mean, like actually, hold on, no, I really did like Detective Pikachu, but
Yeah.
like I can't like it's one of those movies to where like when they revealed the casting, I had so much hype for it. And then like when the movie actually came out and I got to watch it, like, I mean, we're talking 90% of all of that hype got delivered. But like, it was just these nuances. I don't know. Okay. So like when it comes to like the idea of like critiquing other people's stuff, I'm not usually that like critical, but when it comes to critiquing my own stuff, I'm very critical. This clearly isn't mine, but like I think because of how it made me feel, like I became very critical of it.
What about you, J-Dub? Any final thoughts?
I was very impressed with it. I think that it contained a lot of awesome references that people were really hyped about seeing, that really related to the audience a lot. And if people are listening and they haven't seen it, they should definitely see it. We basically just gave a synopsis of the whole movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I agree. We definitely give it a go. And I think I need to get a hold of those brothers that do like remixes of people like saying stuff during interviews and stuff, and do a whole remix of Carl going, "I swear I like this movie." You know what I'm talking about?
Gregory Brothers or whatever.
Yes, those guys,
Yeah.
those guys. The Anton Dotson, hide your kids, hide your wife, guys.
Yeah.
We need to do that with Carl in this episode.
I swear I did. So good. I loved the movie. I feel like that's just going to be me and like pretty much most of the things that like I enjoy, and like when I'm talking about it, I just feel like I need to like let people know I did really like it, but like I'm also very fucking critical of it.
All right, so thanks for listening, everybody. If you want to find the podcast, we're on everything, but mostly active on Twitter at Table to TV on everything. We actually decided that instead of doing a website, we started a subreddit, the Table to TV network. We'll put links for that down below. If you want to find me, just go through Table to TV on Twitter. I mean, you could add me on my personal, but I probably won't see it. My personal is at Axum6900. J-Dub, you plug now.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Jared J-Dub. I stream on Twitch every once in a while. That is also Jared J-Dub. Do some Zelda randos and stuff, so yeah.
And Carl, if they want to be your best friend.
If you want to be my best friend, I have a form that you can sign. It's like kind of like a waiver. So like my stuff is Issa Carl, ISE Carl. It's like you could just find me on like on YouTube and stuff, but like I can send you actually I think you might still have my like with Koji page, which will link you to all of my socials and stuff like that. I'm starting to take selfies on Instagram because I hear that's all the rage. I talk about stuff I've done on Twitter. That's kind of cool. I mainly do stuff on YouTube. That's your best place to find stuff that I do. If you're wanting to
TikTok
get
as
a
well.
hold of me, you could probably just, send me a message on like Twitter. That'd be fine.
You
Cool.
still doing TikTok?
Yeah, because like how it does is like when I make a video, it goes to all my stuff because I'm lazy.
Oh, okay. That ain't lazy. That's efficient. Anyway, all these link. If you join our subreddit, we got links
Mhm.
to these guys too.
Yeah.
And also, if you're wanting, we're looking for. I made the subreddit public. That was a suggestion of J-Dubs. So anybody can post, but like if you want to be like an actual, like if you're a creator and you're looking for like a network of people, hit any of us up and we'll talk it out, see what's going on. We have a drop down menu for all of our. I'm calling them staff members, but none of us get paid. But we in the subreddit we have a drop down menu that links to our socials and stuff for because we're all part of the same network, even though outside of the podcast. So definitely join the subreddit because I'm not making a website right now. The subreddit has all the functions I need that I would need out of a website. Like Reddit is amazing, and I can't believe I slept on it forever.
Yeah. And actually, I probably shouldn't bring up all the controversy going on with Reddit. We won't talk about that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll shut
Yeah.
up.
I don't know anything about controversy, but like we got blog posts and stuff.
Yep.
So a couple random, we got like 3 or 4 blog posts up, and they're pretty good reads. So definitely check those out.
Oh yeah,
and,
that's right. I also started a blog. I need to add it to all of my like stuff because I was doing an older one about like reviewing stuff and I decided against it. I'm now working on one on being like it's mainly for like content creator tips and stuff for like neurodivergent when you just like have like a bunch of shit going on in your head and you're trying to make content, things that can like kind of help with stuff like that. I've already posted like 3. I'll end up getting it up on the subreddit and stuff like that, so like
Yeah, and all 3 of us are mods on the subreddit too, so yeah. I don't know why that matters, but I just feel
it
like
does.
you should know.
My authority is king.
Respect my
And hammer.
Hammer. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We don't have the details worked out, but I do want to have a watch party in our Discord, which you can find on the subreddit, because we're going to do an episode on Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, and maybe that will be the episode after the next one, so we have time to schedule and try to make that happen. These are bi-weekly episodes, so that gives us a month to figure it out. The next episode, though, Xavier returns, and we're going to talk about the Princess Bride board game, which I am so excited about because that's like my favorite, arguably my favorite movie of all time. Like, I say it's my favorite movie. Yeah, it's a good movie. I say it's my favorite movie, but I also really love The Labyrinth, and I named my son after the kid from The Labyrinth, so maybe that's actually my favorite movie. I don't know. I didn't name my kid Wesley, so... But anyway, thanks for listening in, and we will see you in the next episode. Peace out.